Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, some very sad news came out last night. Bobby the Brain Heenan has passed away. I got construction going on in my building right now. I don't want to wait fucking 7 hours for this to stop there. Hopefully the microphone is going to drown out the crap audio, and hopefully this will turn out okay. Bobby Heenan passes away. You know, very, very, very sad news for some of the older wrestling fans. You know what I'm saying? One of the best in pro wrestling. If anybody says otherwise there, oh, he wasn't good, something like this. First of all, if I get trolls talking about this crap in my comments, it's an automatic block. Today there, I understand trolling is a big part of the wrestling community, stuff like this there, but if I get this crap in my comments, it's going to be Block City just saying, you know, if somebody says that Bobby Heenan wasn't good or something like this, then right there you know that they know jack about wrestling there, and their license as a wrestling fan gets revoked automatically, because Bobby Heenan, one of the best, boy, straight up one of the best. The best manager, not one of the best, straight up the best manager of all time. The best heel commentator of all time. People might say, you know, Jerry Lawler. Fuck, dropped my cigarette. People might say Jerry Lawler, the best of all time, you know. Hell no. Heenan, way better than Lawler. As far as being a heel commentator, the best heel commentator, straight up. You know, Lawler would make jokes about puppies and stuff like this. Heenan didn't have to rely on that. He could make jokes out of anything, you know what I'm saying? Very, very, very good for the commentary as well. But straight up, the best manager. One of the best promo cutters in wrestling. You know, possibly the best, like, non-wrestler to cut promos. Definitely the best promo guy for managers and stuff like this. He's right up there with some of the best promo cutters of all time. You know, one of the funniest. People are going to say The Rock is the funniest guy because he would talk about vaginas, stuff like this. Heenan was very, very quick. Like, he could make up real good jokes on the fly. You know what I'm saying? Quite possibly the funniest man in wrestling history. Definitely the best manager, the best heel commentary guy, you know what I mean? And a couple of one of the best that you can throw in there, like promos and funniest man in wrestling, stuff like this. When I started watching WWE at a young age, they're like 3, 4, 5 years old, you know. Heenan was a huge part of the WWE. It's not like today, like Paul Heyman comes out, cuts a promo once in a while. Heenan would come out like 4 or 5 times a night back then. And it was good every time. You never had a bad performance from Heenan. He would manage guys that couldn't talk worth a damn, you know what I'm saying? And he would like basically cut the promos for them, and it would make these guys credible because of Heenan. He was a huge part of WWE. He would do lots of comedy skits and You know, with Monsoon, Mean Gene Okerlund, stuff like this. A huge part of wrestling. He was very, very entertaining. It's not like today they come out with scripted lines and it's not really funny there. Heenan was funny for real. He was good for real, a real entertainer. You know, he probably could have made it guaranteed as a stand-up comedian or something like this. He could have been on David Letterman, stuff like this, doing funny monologues like this. Could have been a big star in the world of comedy, but, you know, he was a wrestler, so, you know, he was very, very entertaining in the wrestling business. He was a huge part of creating Hulkamania, stuff like this there. Heenan managed Andre the Giant, and this was some of the best stuff ever to be made in WWE. Cutting promos for Andre, talking crap against Hulk Hogan, stuff like this. Some of the best stuff ever done in WWE. Very good at getting hate, taking that hate and putting it on these wrestlers, guys who couldn't get real heat if their lives depended on it, you know. Heenan would go out there, he would grab the hate and he would stick it on those wrestlers, and suddenly those guys were getting booed, stuff like this. He would cut promos for them, just a straight up genius for wrestling. A lot of people call him the greatest mind in wrestling, stuff like that, and he was very good. He managed, like I said, Andre against Hulk Hogan, some of the best stuff ever, you know. And one time when he turned on Andre, he was slapping Andre around. Andre turned face, he got upset and attacked Heenan, and the place went fucking wild when Andre turned face, stuff like this. All thanks to Heenan, you know, he could take a big hated guy and turn him face instantly. He could take a guy, turn him heel, you know, the guy was just a magician pretty much in wrestling. He managed Mr. Perfect, a top-notch guy on the microphone, you know, but Heenan would make Mr. Perfect that much better. You know what I'm saying? Managed Ravishing Rick Rude, and this was a case of, like they would say back in the old days, I got the brains and you got the brawn, or whatever, you know? Like Rick Rude looked... Rick Rude looked like $1 million, you know what I'm saying? And Bobby Heenan cutting the promos for him. It was just the perfect team. The perfect package, you know what I'm saying? I remember this as a kid. Everybody adored the Ultimate Warrior. People talk shit about him now because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about there, but... everybody adored Warrior. Warrior was the Intercontinental Champion. And Rick Rude against Warrior. Heenan grabs the Warrior's leg there. The referee doesn't see it. He's got his leg, you know, outside of the ring. Warrior couldn't kick out. 1, 2, 3. Rick Rude became the Intercontinental Champion. This is back when the IC belt was very prestigious, you know. And Heenan cheating the Warrior out of his belt, that was a huge deal back then. You know, so many great moments like this there. Bobby Heenan even managed Ric Flair, people. Ric Flair. Today, you wouldn't get a guy like Ric Flair with a manager, you know what I mean? Ric Flair didn't really need a manager, obviously, an elite promo cutter and all this. He can even cut awesome promos today. But Heenan made the Ric Flair stuff even better. You know, Heenan would come out and like hype up Flair. He would hype him up, the real world champion, the best of all time, stuff like this. And then Flair would come out, start talking, and hit a fucking home run out of the park, you know, just high quality stuff, you know what I mean? Even Ric Flair, he would be elevated by a guy like Bobby Heenan. It made it even better, you know. You look at some of this stuff. I was watching this morning. Heenan and Ric Flair on the barber shop. I just felt chills, you know. You know what I'm saying? Chills in my body there listening to this. Heenan giving him the introduction. Flair coming out. It was some very, very good stuff, you know. Huge part of wrestling. Definitely helped to elevate the wrestling business. He was on commentary with Gorilla Monsoon. Very, very funny, you know what I'm saying. Eventually, he went to WCW. He was mistreated there. They didn't use him to his full potential. They're very sad that they treated him like this, but he still did good on commentary over there. Like when Hogan joined the NWO, Heenan, his commentary added to that. It made people hate Hogan, stuff like this. It added to the coolness of the Hogan heel turn, you know. Just a very, very, very great guy in wrestling. Just an amazing guy, straight up. Better than everybody that's there today by a freaking million miles, you know. There's not one wrestler in WWE today that comes close to Bobby Heenan on the mic. You know, a guy like Cena there, he's fucking shit, sewer shit, compared to Bobby Heenan on the mic. The entertainment that Heenan brought, you could take all the wrestlers today combined. The best wrestlers you can think of that exist today, put them all together. They don't even come close to Heenan. You know what I'm saying? Just a real fucking star in wrestling, or a real entertainer that you don't got today there. And this wasn't scripted. It was all him. The man was a genius. Like they would say, the best wrestling mind in wrestling there. And very sad what happened to him. He got sick. He couldn't talk properly. A man that was gifted with amazing vocal skills wasn't able to talk anymore, and you know, and now he passes away. Very sad how it ended for Heenan, you know, but you know, the man frickin' gave entertainment to millions and millions of people that appreciated his greatness. The memory of Heenan will live on there. One of the best people, straight up. The best manager, the best heel commentator. A lot could argue the funniest man in wrestling. You know, like I said, Rock, a funny guy. He would talk about people's vaginas there, but Heenan could make a joke out of anything, and it was straight up freaking prime time television quality jokes. Just a straight up real entertainer, and you don't get that anymore in wrestling, not even freaking close. So Bobby Heenan, one of the best people. Until next time, Peace. Rest in peace, Bobby Heenan.